Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the second workshop of the MBS e-case competition Indonesia 2022. Before we begin, I would like to remind once again for all participants to rename with the format of the team name, student name, and university name. And for all participants too, please turn on your camera and please use the virtual background. All right, so today's workshop will be a simulation of the game in the platform, a practice to familiarize you with the platform. There will be 4 rounds with the rundown as you can see on the screen. So the participants will be divided into 2 big groups where each groups contain 15 teams to compete. And each team will be asked to join the breakout room and discuss about their decisions for 30 minutes. There will be a reminder for the last 10 and 5 minutes via broadcast message. And after then, participants will have to go back to the main room after each round, where then they will see the ranking and listen to the explanation by Mr. Chin. Okay, so for the purpose of time, let's get started. I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Chin from Top Boss. Mr. Chin is going to take you to the next session and give further instructions. So, Mr. Chin, please take it away. Thank you.
My dear students, I'm very pleased to meet you again. Since we met last Saturday, I hope you have learned quite a bit about the operation of a business. And so this weekend, you are going to actually try to operate a business now on your own without much guidance. And so today's sequence, now once I finish the initial briefing of what you have to watch out for, then the administrator is going to break you into breakout rooms. And you have 30 minutes to determine your strategy, make very important business decisions, and then all of you will have to come back to the main room, and then the simulation will do the calculation, and then we'll see who is doing better and who is doing worse. And probably we'll look at some reason why some are doing better and some are doing worse. And then after that, you're going into the second round. Again, breakout into your breakout rooms. You have got 30 minutes to determine what went wrong, what you can do to make it up. So what are the kind of decisions that you have to do to make up for losses? And then enter your decisions, submit your decisions, and then back from the breakout room after 30 minutes. So if we do that 4 rounds, we are talking about 4 times 30 minutes, so it's about 2 hours. So that will be more or less what we are going to do this afternoon. Now, last week, we simulated 2 situations, and I think this is very essential. The first simulation, I asked you to determine your strategy. In other words, you determine your price, because pricing will determine whether you want to be a little upmarket or you are in the very general quality. So there are 4 directions. All right, you learn the 4 directions that you can take: economy, you capture market, you maintain your market, or you want to be in the premium market. And then you will notice that in order to go with your decision of the pricing, then you also have to make some investments to support your pricing strategy. So if you are going to go premium, then you know that you have got to make substantial investment in your R&D. you got to make substantial investment in your maintenance and your marketing. And if you are going for just economy, then maybe you want to you can do less in R&D, less in maintenance, and less in the marketing, or anywhere in between. So you will have to decide how much you're going to invest. Now, then the next simulation that we went through last week, then we talk about the control of the inventory. And this is also very important because now as you enter the zero round, once you enter into your breakout room, you're going to look at the condition of the company. You note that your company is at a neutral condition. You will have some inventory of finished goods that you can sell. You have got some raw materials you can use to make finished goods. And you will actually have to take into consideration that there is a factor of so-called damages, wastage. In other words, the worth of your raw material cannot be converted 100% into the equivalent amount of finished good. You probably will get about 68%. Now that is a condition that you're going to find out by reading the economic conditions of your company. You can go through your website and you're going to find it. And note that as you make investment in R&D and maintenance, that factor of about 68% is going to improve because your equipment are getting better and your design is getting better. So that has got an effect. And you have to note that your current inventory of finished goods is what you are going to sell into the next period. And whatever order of goods to be made by ordering the raw materials, they will not be sold or because they are not even made in the next period. They will be ordered and sit there and only to be used in the next period. So you have to take that very much into consideration. Plan ahead. In other words, if you're expecting to sell more and more, then now is the time to order your raw material so that the next period you have got that something. So this is a way of planning ahead. So I think you also have to consider the factor of some market share effect. How long it is going to last you, but at the zero round, then they are not going to impact you. But once you get into the end of the round one, you're going to round two, then the market share that you earned, you can hope that they are going to win you something, and therefore you may not have to invest excessively in your marketing to try to earn market share. And so, be careful. You don't to put too much money into your R&D, your marketing, because they are only going to be wasted. They are not going to make tremendous difference. And so that is also one thing. Now, you are going to note that if you have got investment into the marketing and or the increase of your image, yet you don't have the inventory of the finished good to be sold, that means you're not meeting your market potential. So by the end of first round, you're going to review your result. You would notice that whether you are meeting your potential or not. Now, the fact that you are not reaching your market potential because you don't have the goods to sell, then your competitor is going to take your market share. And the competitors do not take all your market shares. They will only take 70% of that. So, you're still going to keep that in the next period because you have invested in your marketing. So these are the various considerations that you have to take note of. Now, I think that is enough briefing. You are going to experience it, learn it only by discussing among yourself in that half an hour, right, to make your decisions and then to look at the result and learn from the result and improve your results in the next round and the next round. So I will stop here, and the administrator is going to send you into the big breakout room. You will deliberate and make the decision on the 18 parameters. Some of the parameters is probably advisable in the first round, not even to consider, for instance, borrow money and all these things. You don't, not until the next and the next round. So, okay. All right, good luck, everybody.
Okay, so before we start joining the breakout room, to all participants, please open the link and log in to the platform using the company ID of your team as shown in the screen. All right, these are the team name and their company ID. Please log in. Okay, if you have already logged in, you may join the breakout room for 30 minutes to discuss with your team. Okay, so the password is 1234, and the link has already been shared in the chat box. For all participants, can start to log in. Okay, so the breakout room has already been open for all participants. Can start to join the breakout room and start their discussion. All right, so I think everyone has already back from the breakout room. Welcome back, everyone. And we will now move on to the next session, which is seeing the current ranking for all teams. And then we'll hear Mr. Cheng give explanation regarding the result. So if any of the participants have any questions, they can write it down on the chat box. Okay, so for Mr. Cheng, please, the screen is yours.
Okay, students, I actually have been entering your breakout room, quite a few of them, and then I noticed that you are still struggling with the system. Some have not even started any discussions. The leader is not showing the screen on the company's parameters and not making decisions. So I suspect, even at the end, you are forced to submit decisions. It is just in a hurry. You are not making sense out of your decisions. But okay, this is for you to practice. And normally it will take actually longer for students to get to learn the system before the actual competition. Now, in this case, you're pressed for time. So next week is your competition. So you better get well acquainted with the system. At least you are able to do something rather than next week in the competition you go in and not knowing what you are doing, and you come out. Therefore you learn nothing. So I'm going to perhaps let it go for the time being. The results is probably going to be quite terrible, because many of them are not even making the right decisions. So let me repeat. Let me repeat that what you are required to do, you get into the breakout room, is to look at your company, and the first thing you want to look at is the inventory of your finished goods. In other words, you still have that. Remember, you have already gone through one period. It is already gone. Something has been sold. So check how many have been sold. And therefore, how much, is still left in your inventory of the finished good not sold. And you notice that, the last period, you actually asked for something to be produced. Have they been produced? So now, you're going to look at your stock of inventories and see, that your raw material is going to go down because they are used. Your inventory of raw materials is used already for the production. So therefore, you will look at that raw material and say, okay, then what I'm going to do next, I have to order some to replenish the raw material, right? So how much? So I don't expect you to be so accurate and at this stage, but at least you got the idea, and therefore you're trying to do things in the right direction. And if you are doing it in the right direction, you can feel the result. You can see the result is coming your way. It's helping you instead of going downhill, right, or going down south. So now let's start the second round, because we have already used up some time. And this time, I expect that you're getting into the breakout room like a breeze. You already know what to do. You're not struggling to get into the breakout room. And then again, I'm going to enter the breakout room and look at what you are doing and see whether you are in the right direction. You're doing the right things, and then we will look at the results. So I think in the one sec, there are only 7 companies. Let's say this group A, and now you can see that you have got revenue and
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So team W14. Okay, this is not even ranked according to net profit, because I see. Yeah. That okay. Now, so team. This is another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see this is another. So 7 each side, apparently. So some company like W7. Okay, you have made a $1 million profit out of a revenue of $6 million. So very good, right? So you have made great sales. So I suspect probably because you have adjusted your price down. But now your problem will be that do you know that you are already depleting your inventory, and actually you did you make plan to replenish your raw material, and so that now enter into the second period, you actually do not have things to sell after you have got this result, right? So it's because in the first period you have not put that into consideration. So it's very important. So same thing, all those who are making profit, now you go and look at your inventory of finished goods and see whether your finished good has already been zero. Probably they are, and that is because you have sold everything in your inventory, and now in the next period you got nothing to sell, and even if you order raw material, they don't become finished goods for the next period, and so you still have nothing to sell. But if you are going to force the production and say, you know, no matter what, I got to produce something, then you will have to pay a premium for your raw material to get it instantly. And that, you know, is going to ruin your plan, right? So what are you going to do about that? Right? So go back now and take a look at your company's condition, and then to analyze the condition, and now make your decision for the next period, right? To make your condition good for the next period. At least, you know, compensate, you know, for some mistakes you make in the last period. All right. So for those who are losing money, that means, you know, you are probably putting money in R&D, marketing, and all this, and so there are money spent, but you have not sold enough. And so, you know, you've still got a lot more to left in your inventory. It can be good news. Now you're going to adjust your price to try and sell those off. But, you know, do you even have a consistent strategy that where you want to position your product? So I think, you know, this is thing that you will discuss among yourself, and then try to improve the situation of your company. So for those who are now profitable in the period one, I think do not be too happy yet, unless you know what you are doing. You are, you know, it is just by luck that you turn out to be profitable. And so try and look for problems in your company, and then make the decision in the 18 parameters to solve the problem that now you have. So this one again, so not one extremely successful company like $1 million, but you know, again, you do are in the profitable range. So I suspect, because, you know, it is the first round, if you are still in the profitable range, it may indicate that you are not making too much changes, right? Very little changes. And I even observed that, you know, dividend issuing, there's $1. I think that is probably just for fun. You know, you are testing the system. You do the dividend without any reason. So why do you issue dividend for $1? So for those who are, you know, making huge deficit, losing $1 million, that is because you have already invested a lot, but you are not selling. But then, you know, you remember you have already invested something. They are going to bring some effect. And so how are you going to benefit from those investments that you put in, which did not bring you the sales because I think you adjusted the price a bit high. So now you will have to make changes. If you bring down your price, and then, you know, plus the investment that you have made, that is supposed to increase your image, increase your quality, then they will still be effective once you have invested. They're going to last for a while, like 1 or 2 periods. Therefore, maybe you don't have to make too much investment there, not keep throwing money, you know, adjust the price, and then, you know, you probably will go back to profitability. So, yeah, again, I said, go back, look at your inventory. That's very important. If you have zero inventory of your finished goods, that means you have sold everything. That the period now you're entering into, you know that you have got nothing to sell. So then what are you going to do about that? So then you either force the production and pay a premium for raw material and all this, you know, in order to have something, or you have to live through this period that you have got nothing. But it tells you something, that now you are really experiencing the, you know, a real life situation, right? That you have clear all your stocks of finished goods, and you know, you're facing a situation that, you know, this coming period you've got nothing to sell. So what are you going to do about that? All right. So now let's go to the breakout room, and now I think you have got more things to debate, and, you know, try to decide how you're going to get out of the problem that you have created, right, the last period for yourself.
All right, so the second round has ended. And
so now let's see Group A. All right, what will be the I cannot remember whether it was still W10 that is again losing $1 million, but I can see that the 4 or 5 of them, the all are generally doing quite healthy. Right? Like Team W2 is selling a lot, 1 million unit, and making also very high profit. Then the others now are having to consider that you probably are losing your market share to W2. So what has W2 done right to take away people's market share? And so how are you going to fight back, you know, your market share from Team W2? And, you know, for Team W2, you now will have to ask yourself, you know, what did you do that gets you the higher sales? And so how can you maintain that? So like W2 and W4, it's got high sales. And the others, they are, for instance, you know, Team W14 has got high sales, but still lose money. And so you will have to ask yourself, then is it because you invested too much money in the R&D, marketing, machine maintenance, and so you're losing money, and therefore maybe the next period you have to cut some of the expenses. Right? Your sales figure seems to be good, and so the overall, I think, you know, I've been looking at, you know, your breakout room. So most companies are not making major changes to the parameters. And actually, this is the way to play. Don't make major changes to the parameters if you don't even know why you are doing it. So, you know, if you even don't change anything and, you know, just the same thing for the 4 rounds, you probably will survive. But then you may not win because, you know, the company that is doing something right is going to win, right? And the company that's doing something wrong is going to lose a lot of money and, you know, even go bankrupt. So, but having said that, I think it is very, very important to, again, keep watching, keep a consistent amount of procurement by raw materials. So you don't want to make big differences in every period in buying the raw materials. And also make sure that, you know, the request for production agrees with your inventory of raw material, because you ask for production of more, even though you expect to sell more, but then, you know, you don't have the inventory of raw material to support that, then, you know, it's going to cost you more. At the end, you'll probably end up in the negative. So can we take a look at the other group? Okay. So quite similar, all right, even though there's less company now making profit than the other group. Now I can see that there are companies having very good sales, right? 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. Yet they are making some substantial losses. So now you have to go back and review that, you already get your market share, you have your sales, but you are not making money. And it is because, your cost of goods is high. And so where does it come from? Why is it that, your cost of goods is high? Where does it come from? So you have to cut those costs. Then you will turn positive. But somehow, your $1 million sales tells you that your price is probably right. That's why you're getting your market share. And the only thing is your cost is wrong. So find out why your cost is wrong. And, for those who, 900,000 sales and 500,000 profit, I think it's because you are not changing things around. So you are very conservative. You keep this present status, and you probably will survive into the next round and still like that. But, do you want to do better than that? And if you want, then, where are you going to start? If you want to do better than now, $900,000 sales and $500,000 profit, in that range. And for those who are even making lower profit, like Team W27, look at your costs. Find out, where does it cost you more that is going to eat into your profit. So, okay, these are the food for thoughts. I think, we can now enter into round 3. And I think, I expect then, you will be even more intelligent now in round 3 in your discussion among your teams, because now you have got things to talk about. You are now got things to think about and things to talk about, and then, make the decisions with some reason behind your decisions. Okay, so let's go.
Okay, all participants may join the breakout room again. Okay, so I think all the participants have already joined back to the main room. So we will see the current ranking and results. And for Mr. Ching, you may go ahead.
Professor Chin, microphone is not open.
You are still muted, bro.
Oh, I think take away my breakout room. Yeah. All right. Now I see that, the performance is quite good. I guess, there would be some shifting in position. It was higher profit ranking last period, and then, you drop to second, third, now you raise to first, second. So there's a changing, and a lot less profit loss companies. There's only one here. So now, one very important consideration as you play this game, once you play more, you are going to experience, and therefore you pick up the idea that the procurement, the purchasing of raw materials is best left consistent, stable, instead of changing it violently, you know, big differences. Just now, for instance, I look at one company and, you know, the raw material purchase has dropped to only 100,000. When period 0, it was 1.5 million. So suddenly, you know, you buy so little. So what is the logic? Is it because, you know, you have got so huge raw material inventory that you cannot finish, so you don't want to buy anymore, or you do it without a good reasoning? And, you know, the company that make not violent changes are the company that will generally perform better. The company that makes violent changes, big changes, are the company that is going to perform worse. That is the trick. So, for instance, now the company W4, good sales, also good profit. That's good. So you stand a very good chance that the next period, which is the fourth period, you will have even more profit if you can find out what is stopping you from getting more profit. And then, you know, you could win the competition because, you know, you have got the sales advantage. And of course, for W14, you now can see that you don't have the sales advantage, but, you know, you are very profitable. And do you want to just maintain it, or you want to get more profit, because that is going to bring you again higher up in the ranking, and you could win the competition. So similarly, you know, all the other teams, you know, I said, go back and check the costs of your goods, all right, where the cost is not right, and that is why it is bringing your profit down, and that's why it is bringing your ranking down. Your sales, again, you know, those who are having lower sales, and the reason is probably because your price is not right. Compared to your competitors, your price is not right. Or you are not investing enough to support that price. So should you be investing enough to support that price and then bring your sales up? But then, you know, if you do that, you know, it is going to take away your reserve. So your profitability may not improve if you put money into the marketing. And all right, so I also just mentioned, in fact, this is a trick in the game, because, you know, it's in the competition. Everything is counted up to round 4. So in round 4, whatever you don't invest, maybe it has got no relevance, because round 5 is not counted. You know, you create trouble for round 5, but round 5 is not counted. And one of those things that, you know, will not impact you impact round 5, but, you know, not impact you, is the purchasing of raw material. So you know, in round 4, if you have a very, very low purchasing of raw material, which is trouble for the future, but it is no trouble for the current period, so you save money actually, increase your profitability. But, you know, you are now taking advantage of the game, right? The game is only 4 periods. So that's why, you know, it is a trick. But, you know, it is an illustration. Understand the game, understand what matters, what don't matters, and then make a decision, right? Then take advantage of the game, and so bring yourself in a winning position. Now, can we look at the other group? So instead of the other group 1, now you have got 3 companies losing money. Especially glaring is the one team, W24. Your sales is so good. and you lose money. So go back and study, analyze the cost of goods. All right, why is it costing you so much? All right, to make the product, and then even you sell well, your price is probably below cost. So you lose money because your selling price is below cost. And then if you consider W21, he is also selling very good to this team, 1 million, and then how come he is making profit? So that means his cost is well under control. Likewise, team 25, you are selling well. In fact, the owner's equity is very impressive, but you are not as profitable. And so I can see that your quantity of sales is one thing, but the revenue is another. So your revenue is also lower, even though your sales is higher. Which means what? Which means that your price is low, and so your price is low. That means you are not getting the profit. So would you consider bringing your price up? If you already have the market advantage, your sales, the trend is good. So even if you bring your price up by 50 cents, it might still get you the same sales figure, but now will increase your profit by a lot. So this is something that you can consider. So I think one thing is go back, all right, and analyze your cost. Everything has to do now with your cost, and if you can now control the cost, you will, for those who are losing money, you will be back to profitability. For those who are not making enough profit, you're going to make better profit, right? So study your cost. Okay, so let's go to round 4.
Right, welcome back, everyone. So we will now see the final results and the ranking. And for Mr. Cheng, you can go ahead.
Okay, so this, I think, was consistent with the last round result that I can see. There's one company that is now losing money, probably the same company, all right? And I urge you to now reflect, why is it you that is always losing money? And then I can see that the 3 companies all have their sales figures over $1 million. So that is means you are doing something right. And the reason that some company is high in net profit, 990,000. Some are the one below. W2 is only 430,000. Could be because of certain considerations that it might be. Now I don't know, because I have been telling some teams that this is round 4, and the rule of the competition is that everything stops at round 4. So when you make a decision for round 4, if that decision is bad for round 5, then it doesn't count, because there is no round 5. So do something as if there is no future. So you do something as if there is no round 5. So what can you do? Something that is as if there's no round 5. For instance, you don't buy any more raw material for the future round, because the impact is on the future round. But now by not buying, you can save up to $1 million. And that $1 million can become your profit. So, is it because that some company did follow my advice and therefore, get a good profit? So, think about that. And another thing that, you can consider is that you want to, in round 4, do something that you can sell everything that is in your inventory, finished goods. Because if you can sell them all, then, they become revenue. If you cannot sell, then, they become asset, cost. So that is going to change your profitability and the ranking. So again, that is something to consider. That is like understanding the rule of the game and take advantage of the rules of the game. So let's see the other group. So instead of 4 companies making losses the last round, now even more company making losses. And so that means you have not really gotten the idea that where is the game going. So obviously the W25, the team knows where the game is going. He's got very healthy sales, also very healthy profit. So now, in terms of NPV, probably this company might even come on top, right? Because one round profit, is not everything. So, but again, for W17, you're selling very well, and you are still making losses. So, there must be money that you spend in the wrong place, unnecessary. So what are the unnecessary money that you spend? Could it be that your marketing, your R&D, your all this are consistently at a high level, right? Sometimes, the higher doesn't mean better, because, there is always diminished return. So have you really figure out, what is the adequate amount of marketing and R&D and maintenance that you need to invest in order to get your sales. So, you're throwing money, wasting money. So I see, for instance, the W17, 29, 27, and 24, they are all having good sales and they are all losing money. So that can only be because, you are throwing good money into something that is wasted, right? Not helping you. Only the W16, I think, is in serious trouble, because, you accumulated so much losses and, your sales is so little. So, I can only suspect that, your price is all wrong. So, nobody buys your product because your price is wrong. And you have not realized that for quite a while until now, that your sales is been weak, and your price is wrong, and so now you are making huge losses. I cannot trace back, since I don't have the record, but you will know whether you have been consistently losing money like that, W16, and if you are, then you did not adjust your price quickly. You get stuck there, and you didn't know what to do or what is happening. So now you see you ended up in the 4th round. Your sales is very, very low. Right? So you're basically not selling. And the only reason why you're not selling is that your price is just not right. So so I think some of you has got a good understanding of the game already. Right? apparently some of you is still not able to grasp the important issues. So you have got only 1 week to the real competition, and I hope you will read up. And you will, among your team members, even spend some time within the week to reflect on what you did and try to understand what you did wrong, so that when it comes next week, the real competition, you have corrected your mistakes, and you will perform much better. So essentially, my advice to all the teams is that do not make violent changes. That is the first rule in the competition. Would not do you any good by making violent changes, because you don't even know why you are doing that. By keeping everything consistent, always have healthy inventory of finished good, healthy inventory of raw material, and do not order production in excess of your inventory of raw material, and make sure that your potential demand and your sales, because every round you can see, all right, potential demand, sales, and your sales and your potential demand matches. That means you are doing good, all right. If your potential demand is there, but your sales is lower, that means you're wasting that potential. And the only reason why you're wasting the potential is because you don't have inventory of finished goods. And the reason you don't have inventory of finished goods is because you did not produce, and you did not produce enough, probably because you also did not buy enough raw material. So try to plan ahead and have some consistency in your operation, and also make sure that your price and your marketing strategy are in agreement. If you set the price high, then you will have to invest in R&D and marketing and other machine maintenance to support that image, so that you can sell. And if you are already setting a low price, then the price itself can sell. So investing too much in marketing is not going to justify your money. After all, you have got a very low margin, right? Maybe even no margin. So these are all the business considerations that if you can absorb that and reflect on that, then I hope you are going to do well come 19th of March when you are in real competition. And if I take it today as a guide, I've got 7 teams in Group A and 9 teams in Group B, so that's 16. And the teams that do not show today, I guess the rule says they can still join the competition, but then they will be at such a disadvantage. I think they have not learned, and therefore they would be totally lost. But again, there are a few sessions happening in Hong Kong. I think in due course, I think Prof. Dani will give you some information that you can join those webinars in Hong Kong, and you can also learn something. This is conducted in the evening. So if you are keen to win this competition, then take advantage of those webinars. It's also free. Right? So I think let's see if we can open up for some questions. If I guess the only way that you can ask question is to type in the chat, and then let's see if I can answer some of your questions before we close today's session.
Okay, so for any participants who want to ask questions, can write down your questions in the chat box.
Mr. Ching. Hello, Mr. Ching.
Yes.
Can you remind everyone that next week we're going to have self-practice? I write it in the chat box.
Yeah. Come next week, 3 days has been allocated. Your site, your administrator have to be doing the coordination, but you can go into the system and play around. But of course, you know, if the teams do not synchronize, then there is no competition. So the teams has to got to synchronize. You have to register yourself and say you want to join that 3 days of competition, and then the duration of the decision round and all these things has got to be determined. All right, and I think you have got to work with the coordinator, Professor Dani, and find out the time slots. But the system will be available for you to do more practice of the game.
All right, I think there is one person wants to ask from Andreas. So Andreas, you may speak now and ask your questions.
Okay, I thought it was we have to type it first on the chat box. So sorry. We have question regarding the production allocation or the production request and the sales volume, which is the actual the output. When we run our decision on the decision history on the round 4, we allocate we allocate like 190,000 for the production allocation. But when we see the output in the business status, which is the sales volume, we have like 228,000. So we are wondering, how does it possible when we allocate lower, but the actual sales volume results in higher output? Thank you.
I don't know. I don't understand your question. You said sales volume.
If you don't mind, can I just share screen it, sir? Okay, thank you. It's still disabled mode. Okay, thanks. So this is our okay. This is our decision history for the round 4. We allocate like our 190,000 for the production request. Yeah, but actually we have this sales volume 228. We allocate lower, but we get sales higher than we allocate. We just
okay. When you say sales volume, all right, and of course your sales volume follows your potential demand, because there is potential, that's why you sell. Now, when you allocate, you request for production that is lower than this sales volume, then how come you can sell so much, right?
Yes.
But do you realize that you, in the period, already have some inventory of finished goods? So, it is not that, you order for production.
Yes, sir. We already counted for the ending inventory of.
So now, if you look at this, the finished good inventory is not the one that was from the previous period, right? Because now is the current, right? So after selling 180,000 units, you got still so much left. Okay. Now, when you just now you show me the 200 something, after selling that you got nothing left.
Yes.
Right. So that means something that the amount that you order to be produced, together with the inventory of the finished goods that was left over from before, would add up to 228,000.
Actually, if we add 190 to 120, we get 310.
So now when you order so much to be produced, remember that they don't all become finished goods, because there is wastage. I already mentioned in the earliest at the beginning that your wastage is not small. All right, you can go and check your company's situation. The factor can be 0.0, 0.68, 0.75, whatever. So in other words, there is as high as a 30% wastage. So in other words, you order so much to be produced, then, from the raw material that you have, right, you do not come up with that because of the wastage. Right? So when they don't add up, it could be due to a wastage. But the system does not hide anything or throw anything away. So that is why planning is important. Right? When you say I want to order it so much to be produced, then I have to know that how much is going to be my raw material inventory to support that, and how much is going to come up to be because of the wastage. And then when you add together, if it is higher than your potential demand, that's good news. Then not only that, you're going to meet potential demand with your sales volume, you will have some finished good inventory left. Right? And it's always good news to have some finished goods inventory left. Right? Zero is always bad news, because that means you could have sold more, but you don't have any more to sell. Right? So zero is always means you are not making a good decision. Your calculation not accurate. That's why you got nothing left. Right? So in this case, market 1, 2, and 4, you got nothing left, right? Because you miscalculated.
And one thing, this is Arthur speaking. I think one I want to highlight it. You can see your raw material inventory, only one remain. That means you run out all your raw material. You cannot produce enough quantity as you wish, as you allocated. So no material can produce products already.
Okay.
Understand that?
Yeah, we actually understand that, and we have counted from the round 0 to round 3, and we found that 1.4 round 1.4 raw material could make for one finished goods, and we have calculated it from the round 1 to round 3, and it's like stable. So we use that 1.4 raw material to make this one finished goods. And we have made some error like that. We add 5%, like instead of using 1.4, we use 1.4, 4 and 5 of raw material to make one finished goods. Maybe that's it, but thank you for the explanation. Maybe it makes us, it adds something to us. Thank you.
Does that help you to understand what is happening? Because the computer does not make mistakes. So, you know, everything follows the algorithm. So there is a way to come to the number. And, you know, you have to understand how the computer calculates. Then, you know, you will be able to make the right decision. As for instance, I said, you know, there is a such thing as wastage. And then, you know, your raw material inventory, you know, does not support your order. And so then, you know, you order, but actually it's not produced. So, but, you know, if you order and the inventory of raw material is insufficient, so the system actually automatically would go and buy raw material on an instant basis and cost you more to fulfill your order. And then when that happens, then, you know, you're going to find that, you know, your cost has gone up. So therefore your profit will go down. So that's why if you understand, then, you know, you plan accordingly, so that, you know, you do not order excessively. You are always you're always conscious of what you have, and then you will try to meet the potential demand by planning early, so that you have already the raw material to do that. And that's why my advice to everybody is, you know, don't change the purchasing of raw material violently. Try to be consistent, and then, you know, see whether you're depleting your raw material inventory or they are accumulating. Then, you know, you try to make adjustments. Some other questions?
Okay, so there is other person who has raised their hand. Finandi, you may ask your questions now.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Kwok. So I want to ask a question about this raw material thing. So the raw material thing is will be used on the next round, right? So what are other expenses that have similar behavior like raw material that will be used on the next round?
Yeah, you order this time. What you order does not get delivered. So in other words, the round that you enter into, you order, you don't get it, and therefore it is not going to support your so-called request for production. It's not there. All right. What you order now is going to be ready, sitting there as raw material inventory in the round after. So you know, you don't count on now ordering now and raw material, and then it instantly becomes finished goods.
Yeah. So
so that gap of one period is for you to plan, and that's why you have to plan early. If you want to have more products, you order your raw material one period in advance.
Right.
There are even instances, of course, it is getting a bit sophisticated, that if you are reading that, the inflation rates is high, that means, very quickly in even 4 periods, the raw material cost can go up by, 20-30%. That, you want to order a lot of raw material in the round one. And so you avoid the inflation. But this is getting sophisticated, that you really have to play the game for a long time. Right? And then, you see the impact to try and take advantage of, these environmental factors. Right? So until you understand all that, and these are something that you can understand, but maybe you don't want to do it since you don't know how to do it, or you don't understand what it means. But yes, if the inflation rate is high, you want to order a lot of raw material even at round one, so you don't get hit by the price hike in round 2, 3, 4.
Oh, right. So what about the equipment investment? Do we
the
have
equipment investment is to improve your productivity. All right. So we say that the wastage, the factor, and all these things, by putting money in equipment investment, it will increase the productivity. That means lower wastage, higher productivity. Therefore, you get more finished products out of your raw material. If you invest, that factor of 0.68, 0.75, or whatever, is going to change because you invest in your equipment, because you also invest in the R&D, which also change the product quality and therefore the product image. So that has that impact.
Okay, I think my answer has been answered and clear. Thank you, Mr. Kwok.
Okay, thank you, Finandi, for your questions. There's actually one last question, but I think it's already been answered by Mr. Arthur. One last chance for any participants who wants to ask questions. May go ahead. Okay, so Akbar raises his hand. Okay, you may go ahead and ask.
Okay. We're from Al Balcony. We're still confused about what Andrea said about the question that Andrea said, and we are still confused about Mr. Ching's answer because.
And can you speak louder? I cannot hear you.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay.
What about Mr. Ching?
I'm going to repeat Andrea's question. Let me share you. Can I share you my screen again?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, still disabled. Okay. So in round 3, we have 124,000 finished good, and the sales volume that we sold is 180,000. Which, if we add those two factors, we get 304,000 in market 1. But in market 4, we only sold about 228, 380, 368, but we don't have finished good inventory left in market 1, which is if we calculated the difference between 304 minus 228, we lost. We can say that we lost 76,000-ish finished good. We still confused in that.
Okay, let's let you go to round 3. You click now round 3, right?
Yeah, round 3.
Okay, so round 3. Let's only concentrate on market 1. We don't want to look anything else.
Okay.
So at the time of round 3, you fulfill the market potential.
Yes.
You have got 124,000 left, right? 1, 2, 4,
124.
308. So by the time you enter into round 4,
yes.
So round 4, you almost fulfill the
potential demand,
sales volume, all right, the potential.
Yeah.
And then you got no more left, right?
Yeah.
So that means the sales volume of 228, 368 includes the 124,308, right? That is from the previous finished good inventory. So meaning that the additional finished goods that is added, right, to round 4 for sales is the difference of that. All right? And probably now you are even not meeting the full potential. That means that what you added to the inventory does not add up to 229,717. All right? What you added add up to 228,368. So now, what you added, of course, comes from your ordered production. But your order production has got this determined by your raw material. So you have got to go back and see that, at that time, at round 3, you are looking at a certain raw material inventory that only will give you this much. And so that is all you can do, right? You use up all the raw material. You only produce this much. Together with the 124,308 inventory, all you can do is to give you 223,368 sales. Right? Does not even reach the potential of 229. So I think that is explanation.
Sorry, sir, but actually from round 1 and round 3, we have some calculation in our Excel. We have some conversion rate from where our raw material to be a finished good. We from round 1 to round 3, we always exactly what we decide. It's happen to be what the round 3, round 1, and round 2 the production decision allocation we decide. That's the exactly amount about that. And in the last round, which is round 4, we decide to be produce 100 and we decide to allocation 190 production product, and we added with the inventory before, like Akbar and Andreas before said that it's added to be 300 is product. But if that's the case, when we cannot fulfill what the market potential demand is, we should have more finished good inventory, which is in this round we don't have any finished good inventory, and our raw material put it in the 1. And that's the point that we don't know, is it our miscalculation or what. But from round 1, 2, and 3, we have the exact calculation about that, sir. That's the point about what we confuse, not about we don't get the potential demand, or we don't calculate the raw material to be produced to be a finished good or something, sir.
I think the question I would ask you, and then you will have to try to answer, is that what do you expect that you will still got left, all right? After your sales volume of 228,368, what do you expect that you will still have got left? Based on your calculation, is it going to be in the 100,000s? Now, that glaring difference, somewhere something is very wrong. But if it is, a small number, then, the small number is a lot of so-called uncertainty, which is a part of the simulation game, right? Everything is in the simulation game is designed to be uncertain, right? Not exact. So, if your calculation is missed by 1 or 2%, that is the uncertainty that is built into the simulation. So, life in life, nothing is exactly how you calculate it. That is the design of the simulation game. But you try to answer that. If you expect that the finished good inventory leftover is huge, then obviously you have used the wrong formula, or because the computer do not make mistakes like that.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Mr. Ching. And in conclusion, maybe that's there's still a miscalculation in our calculation, and I hope that the answer that Mr. Ching gave
understand that if your calculation is by a lot, then your formula is probably incorrect. Huh?
Okay.
But if your formula is still correct, but you miss by a little, that is 1 or 2%, then is probably due to the uncertainty nature of simulation. It is not designed to give you the exact calculation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ching, for the answer.
Okay, thank you for Akbar and Mr. Cheng for your answer. But unfortunately, because due to the time constraint, we have to end the Q&A session. And unfortunately, too, we have reached the end of our workshop. Thank you, everyone, for attending today's workshop. I hope this workshop was helpful in giving you an idea in making business strategy for next week's competition. And good luck for the competition day on March 19th. And maybe please note some important information for the competition. Maybe the operator can share on the screen some of the information for the competition on March 19th. Okay, so for the information that is important, so there will be 2 rounds. First is the preliminary round. There will be 4 rounds of simulation game in the morning, and then we will continue with the presentation of the top 10 in the afternoon later on. And don't forget that each team needs to prepare their own virtual background. And during the competition, participants are required to turn on their video. And lastly, don't forget that the dress code for the competition next week is business attire. Oh, maybe I want to remind lastly that before the competition on March 19, there will be several self-practice on March 14, 15, 16, and 17 at 9 p.m.